Good afternoon, Ghana. It's 12 o'clock. Time to reach for mobile water. Mobile water, unique in every way.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi
News.
On the second day of national mourning, you are welcome to this edition of the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We're broadcasting live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. Coming up.
On Saturday, 9th August at 5 p.m., the nation will gather at the forecourt of the State House for an evening of reflection and memorial in honor of our departed colleagues.
Ghanaians to convene at the forecourts of the State House tomorrow as the nation reflects in honor of the 8 citizens who perished in Wednesday's military helicopter crash. Meanwhile, more groups, including the Judicial Service, trooped to the ceremonial grounds of the Jubilee House to lay flowers in memory of Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, Dr. Murtala Mohammed, and the 6 others.
We should forge ahead in national unity and not politicize their deaths. We should all have recourse to their legacy they left behind and then serve our nations best of our ability.
Also on the Citi Prime News, prime suspect in the murder of immigration officer Stephen Kenamwa reappears in court as his murder trial continues. And later on the Prime News, Ghana Medical Association calls for urgent attention over increasing carnage on Ghana's roads.
Even with the single lane roads, they are still in such bad shapes that every trip on them is a dance with death.
All that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is live around the globe on citinewsroom.com. Here in the country and in the Upper West region, we're on Tumpani Radio 88.5 FM in Nadoli. In Jirapa, we're on 96.1 FM. In the Upper East region, we're on Rikas 92.1 FM in Bongo Namo. In the Northern region, we're heard live on North Star Radio 92.1 FM in Tamale. And in the Northeast region, we're on Nobia FM 98.1 in Naleruku.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful to you for your time this afternoon. Let's now get into the details of today's Citi Prime News. And we begin from the President team. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has pledged a full and transparent investigation into the military helicopter crash that killed 8 people, including Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah and Environment Minister Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed. In a national address yesterday, the President described the late officials as gallant men who served the nation with honor. He added that the Ghana Armed Forces has already begun its investigations into the incident.
And as we mourn, questions about the cause of this tragedy are only natural and important. And I want to assure the families and the nation that the Ghana Armed Forces has initiated a full and transparent investigation into the circumstances of this crash. An investigative board of inquiry has been set up to investigate the cause of the crash. The flight data and cockpit voice recorders have both been retrieved. All 8 of the bodies of our departed comrades have been retrieved, and the government is in close touch with the bereaved families about identification of the bodies and final interment.
The President also outlined a number of state activities to be held in memory of the departed compatriots.
On Saturday, 9th August at 5 p.m., the nation will gather at the forecourt of the State House for an evening of reflection and memorial in honor of our departed colleagues. Books of condolences will be opened simultaneously at the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ghana Armed Forces headquarters, and the National Democratic Congress headquarters, and also the head office of NADMO from Sunday, 10th August to Thursday, 14th August. On Friday, 15th August, an interdenominational state funeral will be held for the 8 heroes at the Black Star Square. my brothers and sisters, my fellow countrymen and women, may God bless their souls.
You heard President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama. Meanwhile, scores of Ghanaians and government officials have visited the ceremonial garden in front of the Jubilee House to lay flowers in honor of the 8 persons who died in Wednesday's military helicopter crash. Now, speaking to the media during the visit, Acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni, urged Ghanaians to come together in unity during this time of national mourning.
This is a national tragedy. Now we are here to commiserate with the president by laying our flowers. And as I said yesterday in my statement, which was actually repeated by the president in his somber address to the people, these gallant men died in the course of duty. And so we should forge ahead in national unity and not politicize their deaths. We should all have recourse to the legacy they left behind and then serve our nations to the best of our ability.
You heard Acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafuboni, speaking at the ceremonial garden in front of the Jubilee House. Let's stay with the flower laying ceremony, because Council of Elders of the National Democratic Congress has visited the same place in front of the Jubilee House to lay flowers and mourn the 8 victims of Wednesday's military helicopter crash. Now, speaking to the media during the visit, Chairman of the Council, Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, extended heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families.
This is a very sad day or week or period for all of us to see our beloved colleagues in this tragedy. We are here as Council of Elders of the National Democratic Congress to lay the wreath in honor of our colleagues. We'll extend our sympathies to all their relatives, the country, and our head of state, President John Dramani Mahama, for this irreparable loss. May all our colleagues rest in perfect peace.
There was Chairman of the National Democratic Congress Council of Elders, Alhaji Mahama Idrisu. Will be heading to the Jubilee House shortly and speak to our presidential correspondent who is following up with the flower laying ceremonies there for us. But before that, the International Academy for Certified Disaster Emergency Management, Criminology and Forensics Professionals is calling for the creation of a National Forensic Authority to boost Ghana's ability to investigate large-scale disasters. This follows their decision to send the remains of 8 victims from the recent military helicopter crash in the Adanse Akrofrom district, including Defense Minister Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah and Environment Minister Dr. Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed to South Africa for DNA analysis. Now, speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, the Academy's country representative, Dr. Lawrence Kofi Achiampong, raised concerns about how the remains and debris were handled, warning that it could lead to violent evidence being lost and investigations compromised. He urged the government to train and equip a specialized forensic disaster response team to ensure transparency, proper identification of victims, and credible outcomes after national tragedies.
Looking at how the thing happened, you can see that most people went in it. People are taking parts of the aircraft and showing it off here and there. That is a breach of the disaster scene methodology, which needs to be put together very well. But we expect that specialists or experts who get to the crime scene will make sure that this methodology is upheld. Because at the end of the day, anything that we come up with, if the evidence doesn't go through what we call the chain of custody to preserve the integrity, it can never be admissible. It can never be taken as something that we can put our trust in it. So I agree with you that the way it was handled, we need to actually look at it. And all these is a matter of bringing experts together. So, Caleb, we have been advocating that we need a forensic commission. We need a forensic authority.
Dr. Kofi Achiampong further called for a full-scale forensic investigation into the tragic incidents, arguing that the nature of the tragedy demands more than basic victim identification.
We have to come in with the forensic aspect of the disaster. And this actually involves the interplay of what we call forensic disaster victim identification. And you can see that yesterday, all the bodies were shipped to South Africa for proper identification. When we talk about forensics, we do not talk about only one person. We don't talk about only DNA. No, we need to go beyond that. We need, because this happened, there were fire. In fire, we need fire forensic experts to come on board. When we want to identify, we need forensic pathologists. We need forensic chemical pathologists. We need forensic toxicologists. We need all manner of forensic experts on board.
Dr. Kofi Champong is country representative of the International Academy for Certified Disaster Emergency Management, Criminology and Forensics Professionals. And more tributes continue to pour in for departed compatriots, because let's focus there now, because the minority leader and member of parliament for Efutu, Alexander Penyamaking, has expressed sorrow over the recent tragedies in the Ashanti region, including the military helicopter crash that claimed 8 lives, among them 2 cabinet ministers, and the accident at Dwaso that killed 16 Saviour Church youth. He shared his condolences while speaking as the guest of honor at the 19th Biennial Connectional Conference of the Methodist Youth Fellowship at the Winneba Methodist Church. Penyamaking notes that true greatness is not found in position, but in faithful service to God and country, and called for national reflection in this time of grief.
Permit me to begin with a moment of honor in the memories of the 8 distinguished Ghanaian public servants, patriots, and leaders who tragically lost their lives. Their sudden passing is a painful reminder of the fragility of life and the urgency of purposeful living. In mourning them, we are reminded that true greatness lies not only in position, but in faithful service to God and country. I send my heartfelt condolences to the families also of the 16 Saviour Church youth who died in an accident on the 28th of July at Dwaso in the Ashanti region. During this difficult moment, and may their souls have peace. Amen.
You heard Minority Leader Alexander Penyamaking. Now, the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs has expressed deep sorrow over Wednesday's military helicopter crash in the Adanse Akrofrom district, which claimed the lives of 8 public servants, including 2 government ministers. In a statement signed by its president, King Professor Odaifiu Wellington III, Nungwa Manche, the House described the crash as a national tragedy that has shaken the entire country. The Regional House of Chiefs was shocked when the news broke about the tragic incident, which claimed the lives of 8 gallant men of this country, the statement said. The House called on the public to respect the privacy of the bereaved families and urged the nation to use this painful moment to come together in unity. Let's now head to the Jubilee House. Our presidential correspondent, Akosia Ochre, has joined us via telephone. Akosia, I know that it's been a difficult few days at the Jubilee House. More tributes coming in for the departed 8. The president yesterday spoke to the nation. And now at the flower laying grounds, more people are coming in to lay flowers for these gallant souls. Tell us what exactly is going on there.
Okay, Charles. So rightly said, it is a solemn event that is being held here. It started as early as 8 a.m. and we're expecting that it runs throughout the night, late in the night until tomorrow when the entire country converges on the State House to give that to these 8 persons that have tragically lost their lives. But at the ceremonial grounds here at the Jubilee House, more people keep trooping in. Members of the diplomatic corps, the European Union, they were here to lay their flowers as well as say a few words to the Ghanaian community. There was also the NPC Council of Elders. They have been very deep in this particular situation since yesterday. A number of them were here, but today I could see the full Council of Elders, Indian numbers, trooping here, led by the chairperson, Alhaji Muhammad Idrisu. He was here a few minutes ago. We saw members of the Christian community of different denominational churches here to lay their flowers. And then we saw a number of institutions, BBLA, SIC, the Ghana Prison Service, all coming in. And so we expect that this is going to be a long event for Ghanaians.
Well, Akosia, we also know that the president has set in motion a series of national events to mourn these lost souls. Tomorrow, there will be an event at the forecourts of the State House. How is the Jubilee House preparing for this event?
Yes, the president has already been communicating with some key members of the state. This morning, the president was visited by former President John Ejekun Kufuor to formally get that information and invitation to be at these ceremonies that have been put together by the state. And so it continues. As the day goes by, we'll be seeing a lot of invitations to key members of the public to be at this particular event. Now, let me also say that we understand that the Sierra Leonean president, Julius Maada Bio, who will be here at 4 p.m. today, specifically for a flower laying ceremony, and he's expected to also speak to the press on this tragic incident that has happened. So a number of preparations ongoing. The chief of staff and his deputies have been busily engaged in some sort of engagements with some key members as we converge tomorrow at the State House, and then subsequently next week Friday, the state burial will be held.
All right, I'm grateful to you, Akosia. Akosia Oche is our presidential correspondent reporting from the Jubilee House for us. Let's stay with tributes. The overlord of the Tatale traditional area, Nakpale Bore Dawuni Ata Nkara II, has expressed condolences on behalf of the chiefs and people of the Basare traditional area following the tragic helicopter crash that claimed 8 prominent lives. He shared his sympathies during an address at his palace in Nakpale in the Tatale Sanguli district of the northern region.
I want to appeal to Ghanaians not to politicize the disaster. We are all one. And we should all mourn the relatives and parents of those 8 victims. If it were to happen to any of us, it would have been a pain. So we should take it as if they are our own children, our own parents, our own husbands, so that we shouldn't politicize what has happened. May God unite all of us as one, so that we come together and bury them. Nobody should politicize it.
That was the overlord of Tatale traditional area, Nakpale Bore Dawuni Ata Nkara II. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We're broadcasting live from our studio in Adabraka here in Accra. In the Western region, we're on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky 93.5 FM, both in Takrady. In the Ashanti region, you're listening to us on 94.3 FM, Focus FM on KNUST Campus in Kumasi. We're also on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Stellar Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala. Also in the Volta region, you can hear us live on Holy FM 98.5 in Aflao. In the Savannah region, we're live on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo. And in the Bono region, we're on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyai. Still ahead, Ghana Medical Association calls for urgent attention over increasing carnage on Ghana's road. Stay with us, we'll be back shortly.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Hello, everyone. Prices continue to drop at Electroland Ghana Limited. CDF Picky promotion on Samsung, TCL, Media, and NASCO Electronics. Get a NASCO 24-inch LED flat for $899 Ghana cedis. Starting from 2,999 Ghana cedis, you can get 6 kg NASCO washing machine plus a free gas stove. And the Media Inverter 1.5 HP R410 Unicool split comes with a free blender. And when you purchase 65, 75, and 85 TCL QD Mini LED 4K TVs, you will get a free TCL FHD Smart Android TV. Now buy a Samsung 578, 582, and 636-liter side-by-side refrigerators and walk away with free microwave grill. Go to our showrooms and dealer stores across Ghana now. Call 050-315-9739 or www.electrolandgh.com for inquiries.
Looking for a one-stop shopping destination for all things made in Ghana? Eager to experience a remarkable fair that showcases the richness, creativity, and innovation behind Ghanaian products and services? Then get ready for the This is Ghana Exhibition 2025, a celebration of excellence in locally made goods and services. This year's exhibition brings together the very best that Ghana has to offer, from timeless traditional crafts to cutting-edge innovations. The This is Ghana Exhibition highlights the brilliance of Ghanaian entrepreneurs, artisans, and businesses who continue to shape the narrative of homegrown excellence. Brought to you by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM, this is Ghana's biggest trade fair and exhibition, bringing together SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing sectors, indigenous corporate bodies, and local creatives in one exciting space. Join us in championing Ghanaian talent, creativity, and authenticity. Come explore, engage, and be inspired by the businesses and brands that are redefining Made in Ghana across every sector. The dates: Saturday the 6th and Sunday the 7th of September 2025. Time is 10 a.m. through to 5 p.m. each day. The venue is the A4 Sutherland Children's Park. For inquiries or participation details, call us on 0205-973-973. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by MTN, EcoBank, and Side Hassle from EK Brand Consult.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Welcome back. This is the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's focus on some more stories now. The Ghana Medical Association has described the rising number of road crashes in the country as a public health crisis that requires urgent attention. Now speaking at the 44th Annual General Meeting of the Society of Private Medical and Dental Practitioners in Cape Coast, the association's president, Dr. Frank Srebo, called for immediate action to improve road infrastructure and urged drivers to be more disciplined. Now referring to recent deadly crashes that claimed multiple lives, he stressed the need for a coordinated national response to tackling the growing menace.
Even with the single lane roads, they are still in such bad shapes that every trip on them is a dance with death. Sadly, to add salt to injury, our drivers ply these terrible roads with careless abandon. Recently, we saw what happened. 16 very young people lost their lives. 3 days ago, it was 15 on the Accra-Kumasi Road, and there were a few at Asamankes and others. Road accidents continue to kill and maim the active age population with little or no action from any authority. It is widely accepted that intelligence is a mirror to reflect upon the consequences of our negligence and inactions. So the question is, are we reflecting? However, it appears we live in a system where we have become emotionally immune to the careless deaths around us. We continue to live in a brick wall with closed minds that has become a fortress of ignorance. The escalating road accidents in our country is nothing but a public health emergency. The bloodbath on our roads have to stop. If I have to continue, I will say so much. So on this note, let me wish all of us a successful conference.
You heard the president of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Frank Srebo. Let's now focus on education. The Ministry for the sector has called for a review of security arrangements in schools across the country to better protect students and teachers. Sector Minister Haruna Idrisu says recent incidents of school violence, some involving weapons, are unacceptable and must be tackled head-on. He described the growing trend of violence in schools as unacceptable and called for closer collaboration with security agencies and law enforcement to address it. The minister also questioned the current practice of hiring untrained individuals as school security personnel.
We must be seen finding answers to the growing incidents of school violence, some involving weapons and cutlasses, tragically firearms, unacceptable behavior as I have stated. It does not represent Ghanaian values. It does not represent our culture and respect. And we need to work closely with the security agencies and law enforcement. Maybe even the concept of a security man or watchman in our educational institutions, we should be thinking of revising it. Who guards the schools? Who watches over the schools? We just get any person and say he's a security of the school, no background training in policing or security. We would have to review that in order that we can foster safer school environment for both students and teachers.
That was the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu. Again, the Education Ministry has approved the immediate printing of textbooks for senior high schools across the country. The move comes after the Ghana Education Service raised concerns over delays in distributing tablets promised under the previous government's digitalization agenda, which has left many students without key learning materials. At a meeting with the Ghana Education Service and the West African Examinations Council, Education Minister Haruna Idrisu directed that funds from the GET Fund be reallocated to support the printing of textbooks. Here is a conversation with the Minister Haruna Idrisu and GES Director General Professor Ernest Kofi Davis on the urgent need to provide printed textbooks to affected schools.
Many of the schools haven't still received the tablets. That means that the students do not have opportunity to do independent work because the textbooks the learning materials are integrated into the system. The tablets come with their learning materials. So I will agree with you that we print some textbooks for schools that have not received the tablet. Currently, some people are printing the material online as pamphlets, and we are telling schools not to encourage that. So the earlier we print textbooks, the better. So we'll be very happy if the ministry supports us in that direction.
There was provision in the GET Fund formula for textbooks. We had to vary part of it from basic education into secondary education and get that done.
That was a conversation between the Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, and the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Ernest Kofi Davis. Now, Bright Aware, the prime suspect in the murder of Immigration Officer Stephen King Amwa, appeared before the Adaraka District Court today. The case, which was initially treated as a kidnapping, has since been reclassified as a murder and transferred to the District Court for further proceedings. The court has adjourned the matter and the suspect remains in custody as investigations continue. Stephen Kinamwa went missing on July 3 after leaving home to meet a friend at Ashoman Estate. His partially burnt body was discovered 5 days later at Abuom Junction near Kwabena. The suspect, Brightawe, believed to be the last person Amwa contacted, was arrested shortly after. In some other news, senior high schools are grappling with severe infrastructure deficit challenges, a situation the Regional Education Directorate says it is hampering effective teaching and learning. The development has triggered urgent calls for an intervention. Citi News' Central Regional Correspondent Akwesiado has more in this report.
At Feteman Senior High School, one of the most deprived in the region, conditions are dire. Nearly 80% of teachers, including the headmistress, live off campus, leaving more than 1,200 students under the supervision of just about 10 resident teachers. The headmistress describes this as a major setback to proper supervision and academic discipline.
If I say staff accommodation, my residence is part, assistant heads are part, management members, and the general staff members. It will interest you to know that just about 10 teachers are staying on campus. The 90% are outside who are commuting every day. So if we are blessed with staff accommodation, the school will be a great school.
Although the school board began a project to provide on-campus accommodation for the headmistress, work has stalled due to lack of funds.
Feta is not a very big place, so accommodation for teachers is an issue. Even renting in town is an issue. Last 2 years, we started to put 3-bedroom self-contained for the headmistress. Now we are almost at the roofing level.
That report by our Central Regional Correspondent Akwesiado, the ending this edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio at Adabraka here in Accra. For more news, log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. I am Charles Owusukumi. Thank you for listening.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline